So hello everybody, welcome to another Soccer Hub Talks. My name is Ricardo Balbeira, I'm the CEO and founder of Soccer Hub. Today we are here with a great specialist in the field of soccer coaching, a professional with extensive experience in a wide range of contexts. So Rui Mota worked in Portugal in many different clubs and developed a large part of his career in China. We will talk a bit about his progress and his process during this webinar. But before we start, I would like you to ask you please to click on the like button if everything is okay with the video and the audio. And also please write some information about yourselves on the chat box, such as the country that you are based in and also some information about the job. If you're a soccer scout, a soccer analyst, a soccer coach, please write it on the chat box so we can have a bit more of an idea who is watching this live webinar. Also, don't forget that this is a live webinar, so you will be able to ask questions to our speaker. Just once again, write it on the chat box and we will select some, okay? So see you in a few seconds. Hello, Rui. Good afternoon. How are you?
Hello, Ricardo. Good afternoon. I'm great. Thanks. Thanks for having me, and greetings out to the netizens.
Okay. First, let me thank you for taking some time to be here with us and sharing some of your knowledge. I had the opportunity to do a small introduction about your work as a soccer coach, but can you please explain us a bit more? How did you got from a youth coach to the Chinese Football Association, Rui?
Yeah, I will try. I will try to do it in the shortly. Yeah, I started from the amateur to the professional, from the under 15 to the senior team. I had my own plan to follow and to follow my path since these levels. So I started from the county league with under 15, and I went forward to the under 17, under 19 senior team, first as assistant coach, later as head coach. And I think since the beginning, I had my plan, my strategy, and to follow and to try to achieve the professional.
Okay, but was your purpose to go to China, or was something that came during your path as a coach?
During my way, I think in the certain moment I wanted to internationalize my career. And in 2000, so since 2012, the Chinese football, they started with this huge project to develop their football. I think around 2014, I started to check some possibilities to go overseas and to try to get a good project for myself, and at the same time a good country with a good visibility, I might say. And in that moment, all the world was talking about China. So all the news were talking about China. Big stars, not only football players as coaches, coming to China. And I thought for myself that if I got the chance to go to China, I think the connection between my name and this country, it could be good for my image and to launch even more my career.
Okay, so you were saying that you started your career here in Portugal, and your goal was to work abroad. But can you tell me what were the main challenges for you to get to professional soccer? Are there many barriers to cross to get to that specific situation? What kind of challenges have you faced during that process, Rui?
Yeah, the competition is tough, right? Because especially in Portugal, we have a huge passion for football. So we have a lot of very good football coaches. And of course, the competence is huge. And all of us want to achieve the same. So going to the amateur to the professional. So I think my main focus it was to try to get a strategy and to season after season to try to achieve the goals that
Okay.
I propose to get it.
Okay. Okay. So you had the opportunity to work both with grassroots, with youth players, and also professional or senior players. What are the main differences between working with these two levels? And uh, um, what would you prefer to work with? Of course, both youth and adults have challenges, of course, but uh, what is your perspective about coaching youth and adults?
I think that there are a lot of big difference between youth and adult,
Hmm. Sure.
particularly because if you are coaching the youth, so young players, with my experience, I've been since under 15 to under 19. I think here you just need to concern about their emotions, and at the same time, because their concerns are not too much at this age.
Hmm.
So they are football players. They just have the concerns with the school and nothing else more because they have normally parents to take care of them and also the coaches. So for us as coaches is good because we need just to be aware to perform them well
Hmm.
and to give them the tools for them to develop their talent. And of course, in this level, we need to have perhaps a bigger concern with the individual technique, so the individual perform connected with the collective one. With adults is, I think, the opposite. So we are already across the individual technique. We are more focused in the collective one with the tactical work, with the strategy. Of course, I also think that we need to follow every time the players with the small individual details and also to improve every time their individual technique. But we also need to have another kind of concerns because these players are ready. So many times they are married, so they have a wife, they
Yeah.
have kids, they have their bills to pay, they have maybe some pressure if they are in the high level with the media, with the supporters, many times with the board sometimes. So we need to follow them and to support them in a different way that we don't do with the youth. And
Sure.
for me, I think many times we say that there are two kinds of coaches: the coaches of the youth, coaches of the senior teams. And I think, first of all, the quality is the most important. So if we have a good coach or a very good coach, for sure the impact it will be different. And at the same time, I think that there are maybe some coaches with more skills, more ability to the youth, and other ones with more abilities to the senior ones, because with the youth, with young players, we need to have a deep sensibility, and to we cannot talk with them as we talk with the senior team, with the adult. So I think these are the main difference between the youth and
Hmm.
the adults.
Oh, Rui, now everybody is talking about the identity of the coach and the identity of the team. Do you have a specific identity? Do you have a way of play that you prefer and that you try to implement in all of your teams, Rui? Is there a kind of a specific ID?
I have. Since the beginning, since I started my career, so this it was one of my concerns to try to develop my game model, and
Okay,
at the same time, my training model. So I have my own ideas about the way that I want to have my team playing and performing, and every time, so I try to be a little bit more perfectionist I might say, to try to develop my model. And I can tell you that maybe my model, I think it's complete, because I like to work all the moments of the game in a deeply way. And some coaches, maybe they just choose 1 or 2 moments to work, and they want to be very good in that moments. I like to work the 4 moments plus the set pieces. So for me, we have moments in the game, because I think all of them are important in different games with different opponents. So since the beginning, I started to concept my idea about my game, and I think, of course, in the first 2, 3, 4 years, maybe a lot of errors I made, because maybe my idea it was not so developed as I wanted. But step by step, you gain more knowledge, more experience, so you can set even more pieces to your model to get it in the complete way.
And in your model, how does the technology, how do you use the technology in the way that you coach? And how do you believe that technology is changing soccer nowadays? Do you feel any difference since we got the GPS, well, all of the technologies that we have now? Is there some changes in your way of coaching because of the use of technology, Rui?
Yeah, I used since these last few years, because of course the technology, you need to be in the good level to
Hmm.
have it, right? Because still is too expensive. But the technology can give us more data, more information about our players, about the individual performance, and at the same time about the collective one. So many times we use GPS in trainings. We use video to record the training sessions, and with these informations we can have a deeper knowledge about it. I can tell you that many times I think many coaches or many clubs, they don't know exactly how to use
How to use that? Yeah.
the technology, right? Because we think that okay, we have it, so it's just to have. With these informations, all the informations are good for us. But no, we need to select which kind of information we want to get. Because imagine with GPS can give us a lot of
Lot of
different kinds
information.
of
Yeah. Hmm.
informations. So with this a lot of informations, you cannot go deep in all of them. So you need to select 4, 5, 6, 7 items that they are more important for you. Perhaps in this training session, perhaps in the other day, you will get different ones. This can be good, but I think we cannot be too much grabbed to the technology or to the numbers, because football is just not only about numbers. It's not. It's
Hmm.
just not about the statistics, right? So we need to have a good balance between technology,
Yeah.
and to not forget that football is a game. Football
Hmm.
is a game with emotions, and we are working with people, with persons. We are not working with machines. So we need to have here a good balance between these both things to get the best of each of them.
Yeah, as you were saying, to deal with all of that information and technology, the staff of the team are getting bigger, and it looks like that the coach nowadays is like a leader of multidisciplinary team, and not only the coach, the coach that does the training, the practices. So do you believe that that is changing, that with increasing of the staff on the technical, or on the teams, that the main coach will be the leader of a team of staff, and not only the one that delivers the practice during training? Do you believe that the coach will need more and more management skills and less technical skills?
I believe that we need to be even more we need to have a deeper knowledge about all the departments and not just only about the training session, right? So because I think we need to have a strong cooperation among all the departments with all the coaches, and I can talk to you about my example. For example,
Okay.
since I started, I wanted to cross all the levels since the under 15 to the senior, because I wanted to try to learn with the
Okay.
different levels, to check the difference and to check which kind of information could be good for me in the future as a coach, right? And at the same time, I also wanted to try to learn in the different areas of football, because I was head coach, I was assistant coach as well. I already worked as physical coach, and I
Okay.
already assisted as goalkeeper coach. So this it was what I planned for myself, to have the experience and to have a deeper knowledge about it, because if we have, okay, I can have imaginable goalkeeper coach, I can have a coach just to training to perform the defenders, another one just to perform the midfielders, another one just to perform the forwards, and okay, you can deliver this responsibility to them, but later, if you need to analyze or to evaluate them about their work, or even to support them, if you don't have this knowledge, you cannot do it. You are not able to
Yeah.
do it in the better way. So I think, in my opinion, if we are more complete in our knowledge, because maybe 15, 20 years ago, the head coach just had the concerns about the training session, about the way that he wanted to perform his team. But now football went so forward, so forward, so forward, so it's so advanced that every time we need to update ourselves with more informations. And as I told you before, and to support at the same time our assistant coaches, or not only the assistant coaches, there's sometimes mental coaches we have, many
Yeah.
times the physio or the doctors. So we need to understand everything, because the responsibility is always of the head coach.
Yeah.
And if we are able to assist them and to support them in
You have
the
to
more
need
complete
to.
way,
You must know bits about everything, right?
yeah, I believe so. I believe this is my way. This is my
Hmm.
way. Maybe other coaches can have other way, but
Hmm.
this is my way, because if I can supervise them all, I can support them all, and at the same time, I can check if every week or every day we need to adjust or to update something.
Hmm. So, Rui, I know that you are in Portugal at the moment, but let's go to China now. The subject of this webinar is a question: if China will be the next superpower in soccer. Okay, we have here a question from Olaf. Is asking that if you see that Chinese clubs can become, let's say, like Real Madrid level or so, and also if you see the Chinese youth football becoming big and start to sell players. So these questions are related with the purpose of this webinar, is to understand how evolved is Chinese football, soccer, and also to understand how will it be in the future. So do you believe that clubs can reach a highest level, and if the kids, the youth football, can develop well enough so we can have better Chinese players playing in the top clubs here in Europe?
This is the 1 million question, right?
Yeah.
So since I went to China in 2016, and I have like 5 years, 5 seasons with experience there. From my knowledge, from my opinion, I can tell you that Chinese government normally they have huge projects, not only for sports, for football, but for all the areas. And normally these projects they do it with a long range. For example, this football project started in 2012 and goes until 2050. So
Okay.
China wants to be the superpower, wants to be world champion in 2050. If you ask me if it is possible or not, the Chinese government also knows that this will take time. So this is not, and in football we know that the results don't come in 1 or 2 days or 1 or 2 months, and they know that will take time from generations to generations. What Chinese football has, or the country has for now, is like they have 1.4 billion people. So the recruitment is huge. From here, they started to build up more academies to try to get football as discipline in the schools, and to try to get more kids playing football, and to change a little bit the culture, because they don't care too much about football. So with this first step, I think, in my opinion, again, they are trying to give them the football passion, to have more and more kids every year, every season, and to try to be a starting point, right? At the same time, what we need more, we need money, right, to develop a project. So, and China has the money. China is a rich country, so they are in the huge development in all the country, in all the cities, on all the areas, not only in football, and they have it. At the same time, and especially since 2018, they have the facilities that they need to improve the talent of the young players, but also the senior players, and of the clubs as well. So nowadays, you can go to China and you can see many very good training centers. For example, the last training center that I've been, so some days ago, it's a training center with a 20 pitch, with a natural grass, with 6 or 7 basketball halls, with 6 or 7 volleyball halls, with swimming pools, with gyms, with all the conditions that we need to work and to develop the players and the teams.
Shandong, right?
Shandong as well, but I was in the south, in Kunming.
Okay.
Because Shandong is in the north, and especially now in the winter, it's too cold, with minus 15, minus 20 many times. So normally during the winter, the clubs or even the national teams, we go to the south, because south is like the same as in Portugal. So the south of Portugal is also has a good, better weather in this season.
Okay.
So, but as you said, and well, so Shandong Club, they have also a very good training center, and some other more. Also,
the problem is not the facilities. You know, we know that they have pretty good facilities. The problem, well, in my opinion, and I've been discussing that even yesterday. I was talking with Paul Leitão, that was working also in China, in Chengdu, and he was saying that something cultural, because kids, they are not creative. You know, is that really a problem? Is that the biggest problem with the youth players in China, that it's difficult for them to be creative because they live in a non-creative society? Rui.
As well, but also the facilities were a problem. Just since the last 2 or 3 years, they are not anymore. But when I went to China in 2016, it was very difficult to have very good pitches to training, and it was not really easy. Nowadays, it's becoming better, but also, as you said, and well, not only in China. So if in China is happening, so of course in China even more. But nowadays football is even more. We are formatting the football, right? We are taking out the creativity of the football, right? Many times
everywhere in the world, you know,
exactly.
with this situation of the academies, you know, that everybody has to do the same at the same hour. You know, we are taking the creativity, because we are taking the streets out of soccer. So that's an issue, of course.
Exactly, and if you check, for example, before we have this playmaker number 10 position, right? So
Hmm.
it was the biggest creative player that we had, and nowadays we don't have. Normally we have two eights, right,
Yeah,
to box, or now with the 4-4-2 we have like two strikers instead of this playing behind the playmaker playing behind the striker. So if we are having these changes in Europe or in the world, even more in China, of course, because in China we know that the repetition is also
yeah,
one of their characteristics, right? That they follow since ever, and of course for them it's more easy to do some formatted movements instead of to think about their options in that moment. If they have the ball, so what are my options here? For them,
yeah.
it's more easy to have the coach before to say to them, if you have the ball here, play to the right side, for example. And this is a huge problem that we are facing there. And this it was also because one of the reasons I want to say that we went to China. So China is requesting a lot of foreigner coaches
Okay.
uh, because they know that we are more advanced in this
Yeah.
area.
Let me go to another subject before you go there. I had the opportunity to visit China. I went to some universities also to lecture there and to talk about coaching education. And what I notice is that the teachers that are teaching now to the next generation of coaches, they came from sports that they call the small balls, right? They came from the tennis table, and and they are still struggling to get to educate the next generation of coaches. Once again, of course, they're starting recruiting European coaches to teach on the soccer schools, but still they don't have, in my opinion, of course, an efficient way to educate the future coaches. Because if the plan is 2050, and they cannot be dependable only on European coaches. They need to know how to educate the future coach. Do you feel that that is a challenge also over there, Rui?
Of course, it is a huge challenge. And as you said, most of them, teachers or sometimes um, some people in the board, in the chairmen,
Mhm.
some directors, right? So they performed before in the, like you said, in table tennis or
Yeah,
so different sports than instead of football. And of course, they don't have the football passion, right? So
yeah,
it's a different reality. And of course, I think, in my opinion, it's very important to have the football passion to start and to build up a culture
yeah.
in this country, right? So I think I think Chinese government they know about it, so that's why they call us to go, and
Yeah.
they also call these big stars, football players, to give to the Chinese
Yeah, so
football
people
more
can relate.
visibility
Yeah,
and
and so
to
can people relate more with football? Seeing more
exactly.
football is the way to do it. Sure.
Exactly. So they want. I think that they are doing well. So they are betting in the youth academies,
Hmm.
and at the same time they were calling big stars to promote their football, and also because I think with you it was the same, right? So we are Portuguese, so in Portugal all the kids want to be professional players,
Yeah.
and all of us we have like a role model, some player that we wanted to be like him.
Yeah,
And
and,
I
and,
think
and it is not a handball player or a basketball player, right? It's a football player.
Exactly. So this is very important to have in the country these big stars, to
Mhm.
give the chance to the
Yeah.
young Chinese kids to have someone to follow.
Okay, Rui, I'm aware that I would say that maybe 10 years ago, everybody was talking about coaching in China. I believe that was more or less the time that you went there. We had some Portuguese projects over there. As you know, the Figo Football Academy went there and took many Portuguese coaches. Is it still interesting to go and work as a football coach in China, a foreign football coach, and go to China? Is it still interesting?
I think football, like everything, is like sometimes it's fashion, right? Is
Hmm.
like, as you said, some years ago, I think China it was the
Yeah,
fashion football country. Nowadays, and especially now with this pandemic situation we are living, so also Chinese clubs they suffer a while,
yeah,
and some of them they closed doors since the last season, last 2 seasons, and just now the champion closed as well. So the Chinese champion doesn't exist anymore, right?
yeah,
So this is something that many times I say that okay, China perhaps was like this fashion country before. Maybe now it's gave a step back, but I think, in my opinion, because normally these Chinese projects they are really strong and they are very detailed about what they want to achieve. I think maybe in the next 2, 3, 4 years, perhaps they will try to get again the path that they were following before. So it's true that in these moments, some of the big stars left, not only players as coaches, at the same time because the country is closed, right? So we cannot go easily to the country, and at the same time we cannot leave it so easily. And we have our families back home, so it's normal to I think this situation to be happening. But let's see what
yeah.
will happen in the next year, 2 or 3 years.
So we have here another question now from Tony. Tony is Brazilian and he lives in Russia. And the question is very interesting. Do you believe football high level development depends on money and support from the government, or proper professional approach and new football culture? Of course, money helps. I'm sure of it, and money is needed to change the culture. Also, as you were saying, they are hiring high-profile football players so people can change the bit the culture about sports. So, but do you believe that money and the support of the government is solving everything in China, Hui?
I think, of course, money is the starting point for most of the things, right? Because normally people follow money, right? Fortunately or unfortunately, this happen. And as we said before, these stars they are just going to China because they are getting huge salaries, of course.
Sure.
So it's not because of the country or of the culture, because everything is completely different of the Western world. So I think yes, money is very important. It's the starting point for other things happen. Of course, the cultural passion in football and especially in China in these moments is very small, right? So we don't have so many fans, we don't have so many people enjoying this game, and this is one of the main difference that I checked in China and in Europe, because many times if we talk with any people back home in Portugal, for example, with any man, for sure in 199 they like football. And
Yeah.
in China, it's exactly the opposite. If you
Mhm.
ask to 100 men, maybe just one will say to you that he likes football.
Yeah.
So this is something that I also think
Takes
that
time, right?
takes time, and Chinese government is aware about it,
Yeah.
and they have for sure in their project some ways to solve it.
Well, as I said in the beginning, many of those that are attending this webinar, they are giving the first steps in football coaching or soccer coaching. With your experience, do you have some tips that you would like to deliver to them so they can achieve their goals and achieve their purposes? What would you say that they should start with, and how do they go step by step to achieve their goal? Do you have any special tips to help them out, Rui?
Yes, I can tell you that, for example, I don't want to be a role model for anyone. It's not
Okay.
my target, right? But at the same time, my example and my career is also uh, maybe these coaches that they are giving the first steps, they can check my career and they can have an idea about the way that they can follow.
Mhm.
This is one of the ways, right? Because I don't have in my family nobody connected with football, and so I came from down to the professional, and the advice or tip that I can say to them is they need to find a plan and a strategy to go forward. So which team, which level they want to achieve. They
Mhm.
want to be youth coaches or senior coaches. They want to get it in the how long? In the 5 years, in 10 years. So they can start to create their own plan and to try to go forward step by step. Of course, each all of the ways are valid, are the right ones if we achieve the high level. But as I said, it's maybe more easy for them to check some coaches that achieved what they want to achieve and
Mhm.
try. Maybe I don't want to tell them to copy paste. No, it's not
Yeah.
that. But maybe to have some support and to have more ideas about the plan they want to follow to their future.
Okay, Rui, good advice. I have a free online course available on Soccer Hub that talks about. Well, the question is how can I become a soccer coach? And two of the things that you said, I usually say first to have a plan, and to have a plan is not only to say I want to do this in the future. It's to setting goals, saying I want to be here at this time doing this, and step by step for achieving that purpose. And of course, I would say that looking for education, information, content is absolutely indispensable. As I had the opportunity to interview hundreds of coaches in different contexts, and they always say something like this: that the difference between an average coach and a top coach is that the top coach is always looking to learn more, and that for me is quite clear. And Rui, I believe you're an example of this, that you set up your career with a goal, with a purpose at the long run. So I would like to thank you, wishing you the best of luck in the future. Hopefully, we can meet in China. It's a country that I enjoyed to be there, and I believe that it has a lot of potential. But at the same time, the challenges are huge, and that's why it's so interesting. But even though I wish you the best of luck in China, Rui, hope I can see you soon, and thank you for accepting our invitation to be here and giving part of your knowledge to our followers. Okay, Rui, thank you very much.
My pleasure, and best wishes for all at home, and of
Okay,
course for you too, and good luck for the future.
okay, thank you, Rui. Bye bye. Bye.
Thank you so much.